Hello everyone and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. My name is David Oualaalou. Can China support its own semiconductor sector? In this video, I am going to provide you a brief analysis to help you acquire the full picture about this topic. If you are interested in wanting to learn, be informed, and be ahead, make sure to watch this video to the end. Also, if you like the content of my videos and want to support this channel, consider becoming a member. And of course, if you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button because I am on a mission to help as many people around the world as possible become aware. And I can only do this if you are subscribed. And don't forget to hit the like button because that motivates me to create more content for you. So thank you for your support. Let's dive into this topic here. Looks like the new government incentives in Beijing have rolled out, that it will see China join the US in offering significant fiscal package to support domestic chip production. Under the plan, China will invest about 1 trillion yuan, the equivalency of about $143 billion in its chip industry over a 5-year period. And this period will be with a focus on advanced manufacturing. Much of the funding of this, of course, will be available for purchase of domestic semiconductor equipment for chip producing foundries known as fabs in the tech world or jargon that is. And companies, based on the research that I found, companies will be entitled to a subsidy of about 20% on the cost of equipment. It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad investment either. So, and here's the thing. Chinese companies will also receive a tax breaks for investing in the assembly, packaging, and R&D of chips. So you can just see the Chinese government is pushing full speed with ramping up this chip production at home. So they won't have to worry about the outside world or supplies from outside. So looks like the government in Beijing is really under pressure to boost domestic capability because of what the United States government did. Well, what did the US do? The US ramped up the China semiconductor trade war in recent months. How the US did that is by using the export control to restrict the supply of viral lithography machines, which is very, very specific for the microchip production, in addition to other equipments used in the chip making industry, that is. And of course, the US government also banned US firms such as NVIDIA and AMD from selling their advanced processors to China clients. So now, this one begs the question, whether the investments will help China develop its own advanced chip more quickly is debatable because the microchip industry takes time, takes research, takes certain skills and so forth. Now, can China do it? Will China be able to do it? And I'm going to give you an example why that possibility is there. And here's the thing. One thing it's for sure, with certainty, is that without access to technology or leading edge lithography technology, mainly the ones supplied by one particular country in Europe, and that country is Dutch or Netherlands, that is. There is a company there called ASML. It's very specialized in this very leading edge lithography technology. Well, this company, the ASML, has been banned by the US, even though it's a Dutch company, banned from selling its most advanced machines to Chinese clients. Domestic chip makers are unable to match domestic chip makers in China will be unable to match the manufacturing capabilities of the like of, for example, the Taiwan Semiconductor Company, TSMK, and the Samsung in South Korea, which are both, by the way, both of those companies, TSMK and Samsung, are developing small efficient chip about 3 nanometers based on the last research that I looked into. And those are the 3 nanometer process node which are used in smartphones and in servers. So those are very, very specialized stuff. But again, I learned from history and I learned from trends. And I'm going to provide you an example here to put things in perspective. That's why I said at the beginning, we'll provide you the full picture. You all remember when China successfully launched a few months ago the final module of its Tiangong space station, which was back in November 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So the space station completion led some US officials to even state and believe that China has already surpassed US in some aspects of space technology. Yeah, this is why you need to put this within the context of this microchip thing that China now is embarking on, which some in the US said, oh, China will not be able to do it. Look what happened in the space station up there. You know, when China was banned from accessing space station, they went ahead and built their own, and it's completed. Could they replicate this in the microchip? That is why I wanted to address this with you, to highlight, to make you aware of this, because it's not been reported aggressively here in the West. So the completion of the Tiangong space station came about a year and a half. Get this, guys. Only in a year and a half after China launched its first portion of the station known as, let me get the name here, Tianhe, I hope I pronounce it correctly, on April 2021. Within a year and a half, China completed the space station. So, it's common sense. You're gonna think in terms of, can China do it again, something like this in the microchip sector? Possibly not. But the thing is, Chinese manufacturers have been investing in older process node technology in recent years. And here is the thing. The China's biggest chip maker, it's called SMIC or SMIK, reportedly built a 7 nanometers chip earlier this year. So this came as a surprise to many people outside China. It indicates that the Chinese company is still, even though with that 7 nanometer, is still far the distance behind its foreign rivals. Because remember, the one in Samsung and TSMK are able to build 3 nanometers. So here's my conclusion for you. When China unveiled its sort of Made in China 2025 strategy, it became clear to the Western world that China will never be satisfied to serve solely as the world factory, mostly producing non-Chinese products for foreign companies. Of course, this freaked out much of the Western world, as well as even some Asian nations that realized that, well, China's rising tech companies could display their own currently global dominant tech companies. Those are for some other Asian nations and the West, of course. So the envisioned solution, shall we say, to the problem, based on Western views, is that to deprive the Chinese economy of many key technological inputs that would basically create a bottleneck effect. And again, use the example of Huawei. So the brutal takedown of Huawei seemed to confirm the effectiveness of such strategy. As we can see now, it may also have backfired, even though It may have slowed down China's plan for a few years and that backfiring. Could this happen with the semiconductor when the US, President Biden that is, decided to embark on a full trade war with China regarding microchip? Could this backfire and China might end up developing its own? Once again, the space station is an example. So here's my question for you for today. Do you think China will prevail in dominating the semiconductor sector? Let me repeat. Do you think China will prevail in dominating the semiconductor sector? Make sure to leave me some comments. I like to read your feedback as always. Remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.